Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here. Long time no see. Long time no see. Um, I apologize for the lack of videos. Long story short, I've been uninspired, but more so on a deeper level, I've just been a little kind of lost. Lost in many different ways. I won't necessarily get too deep into that at this moment. But I wanted to make this video to finally get the ball rolling again and share with y'all what I've been up to and how things are going with me, myself, my life, my commitment to being free from marijuana. In fact, let's just get into that right now. So it is about 8 months since I made that initial video back in February about how I think I said I was quitting for good. And it had been going well, okay? It had been going well for about 7.5 months, in terms of simply not smoking any marijuana. But earlier this month, I had this curious thought of, smoking some CBD, mainly because I was bored. And if I'm being honest, I was looking for a buzz similar to marijuana, and I was hoping that maybe CBD would create a similar effect. It didn't. However, at the CBD store that I went to, they had these Delta 8 joints. And I did a little research on what that is, and I read that it's I'm honestly not quite clear, but it does have THC in it from what I understand. And in smoking it, it's like the equivalent of smoking very like weak weed, if I'm being honest. Like there's a sense of a high for about 20 minutes and then it quickly subsides. But the pothead in me was for sure enjoying that. And um I don't feel great about it, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I don't feel great about it. But at the same time, I don't regret the decision. And many of you can probably maybe relate to this, where it's like, dude, this journey and trying to figure out yourself, your life, and pot is, every time, whether you want to call it relapse or you choose to just smoke, like you learn something, whether it's a lesson that you learned before or it's something new. And but I am, what I don't like about it is um, breaking my word and demonstrating a lack of leadership and integrity with you guys. And so I I take ownership of for dropping the ball in terms of being someone who is committed to being done with marijuana, and 7.5 months later, ended up binging on Delta 8 joints. Um, I'm not okay with that. I have since stopped. It was about 2 weeks of binging, and there was a lot similar behavior in terms of withdrawing from my life, abandoning things that are important. And if I didn't nip it in the bud, it was probable that I would some one day jump to full on THC, straight from the dispensary. And that certainly is not okay with me, is not okay with me. And I'm grateful for the experience that I had because of the reminders. And with that said, something I think I've shared this before, but something that um is a that goes unnoticed and unseen sometimes is that like there's always this correlation for people who are addicted and dependent to pot, that it's like, oh my god, my life is going well when I don't smoke and my life doesn't go well when I do. And I'm here to tell you that I get that correlation, and there definitely is a lot of truth to that. However, for example, prior to me and this whole Delta 8 binge recently, I didn't smoke for 7.5 months, right? From February to September, basically. I didn't touch anything like marijuana. However, I still found myself binging on other pleasures. And on a scale of 1 to 10, my life and my sense of performance and my sense of fulfillment and joy and success and productivity on a scale of 1 to 10 was like on average a 5 or a 6. Now compared to like when I'm, in the old days when I'm smoking a lot, right? That number is like a 1 or a 2 or a 3. So clearly there is a jump, but what I've shared before, and I'll share it again, it's like, just because I wasn't smoking for 7.5 months doesn't mean I was hitting the head and hitting the nail on what what really does matter to me. And it was weird, man. It was weird, right? Because like many of you, I'm so used to battling this whole pot thing. And so now that that was gone, and I was still facing a lack of fulfillment in my life that was not related with smoking and being addicted, I was in uncharted territory, right? Wait, it's like, wait, my life's not going, but I'm not smoking pot. Like, okay, so then what do I blame, right? What's the culprit for this? And so there's a quote that goes, when something along the lines of like, when a person is unfulfilled or not on their purpose, they seek pleasure. And that's a lot of what my life has been like in these last 7 and 8 months. Is like, man, there's been a lack of fulfillment, a lack of purpose. And so I'm just running to pleasure, right? Doing the bare minimums in survival mode, getting by, right? And, so it's been uncharted territory for me, right? Like this, how, what life is like post pot addiction. I know I just binged on Delta 8, but just, humor me for a bit. And I found myself being like, well, what? I'm like lost. I'm like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I should be doing. It's been a really weird time, guys. That's kind of my big message here. But I'm glad to be back on the channel. Again, I apologize for my absence, and I apologize for breaking my commitment most recently with binging on Delta 8. That is not okay. And I am committed to learning from this experience and moving on. Another message I'd like to bring to the table for many of you is, it's like, man, like, that is one of the skills to develop in this journey with pot and addiction and stuff. It's like, man, like learning to how to bounce back, and how to do your best not to be too judgmental about making a mistake, if you want to call it that. Like, happens, dude. Happens. And I understand if people are upset, and if people want to feel a certain way about that decision that I made. That's okay. It's warranted. I'm pissed at myself. So, but aside, put that aside, I want to acknowledge everyone watching, and wherever you're at in your journey. I want to acknowledge your successes. I want to acknowledge whatever hardships you're going through as well. And to just remind us all that, man, you and I, all of y'all and me, all of us together, like, we're all just trying to figure this thing out, man. I'm not just talking about pot. I'm talking about our lives. like we're just trying to figure it out and doing our best, man. And so wherever you're at in that journey, I acknowledge you, and I appreciate you listening. My intention is that by creating this video, I finally kind of break the seal on my absence, and and I'm gonna bring you guys back into the fold again, and um, move forward and contribute again on this channel, and maybe bring you guys along the journey in terms of what life is like now, and my moments of being lost and trying to figure it out. And because when I first created this channel, I was still in the depths of figuring out like myself and marijuana, and I know that that's still part of the channel. It's not the same as it was before, right? A lot of chapters have changed since then, and I maybe it's time to shift gears and just kind of, like, if the main challenge for me right now is like, man, what do I do with my life? I can start creating videos on as I go through that, and then as I gain breakthrough, I can share those breakthroughs with y'all, and we can. Oh crap! Sorry about that, guys. My phone overheated as I was in the car, but anyways, I just want to cap off this video. Appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate your guys' support. I look forward to being back on this channel and continuing to contribute and serve again. And yeah, man, we're all in this together. And so I'll see you on the next video. All right, have a good one. Peace.